The mother of a 17-year-old who was pregnant and got an abortion, had an abortion, was sentenced to 2 years in prison for helping her with that abortion. This was in April 2022. The police in Norfolk, Nebraska began looking into whether a 17-year-old girl had given birth prematurely to a stillborn baby and whether the girl and her mother had buried it, according to court documents. At the time, abortion was banned in Nebraska after 20 weeks of conception. Now it's 12 weeks since then. It's been 12 weeks. And just more details on her and what happened. She was 23 weeks pregnant, so even beyond the 20-week mark. Didn't know she was pregnant, it seems, until 23. She was 17. She and her mother ordered abortion pills online, but they did not come for 6 weeks. And so when they finally did administer it, it was she was 23 weeks pregnant, or a little bit, maybe beyond that. And they did dispose of the remains in the yard, which is gruesome and awful. But she says that she did not want to have the child of her abusive partner. And she actually took a deal and was sentenced to 90 days in jail and ended up there. But her mother, again, was sentenced to 2 years, which is absolutely fucking wild. The last thing about this story everyone needs to know is there's major tech implications for how our data is being used against us. So the two of them, this is the Burgesses, a detective asked Celeste Burgess, this is the mom, for the exact date, the daughter, the date her pregnancy ended. When she said she needed to check her Facebook messages to remember, the detective obtained a warrant for the messages she had exchanged with her mother, and then Meta complied with the warrant. The detective found evidence of a medically induced abortion. So that's how they so-called got her, was through text messages on FaceTime. So I don't know. This just makes me livid all over. I can't believe a woman is going to be 2 months or 2 years in fucking prison for helping her daughter have an abortion. It reminds me of when I did coverage of women who were sentenced to 30 years in El Salvador for having miscarriages, but presumed abortions. We're headed down this slippery slope. And I just want to help people fly to states where abortion is legal. But Aaron, what do you make of this kind of unprecedented moment in our, since a year and change from when Roe v. Wade was overturned?
I mean, first of all, I think that this story isn't a great example of the way that abortion laws impact people. It's an extreme example, but I think that there are so many weird things about the story that I don't know that it's something we should be looking to as this is what happens. She was so far along in the pregnancy. She was in the 3rd trimester, past the point of viability. If she took the abortion pills, first of all, abortion pills are not supposed to be taken after about 12 weeks gestation.
Right.
They're not effective. So if they ordered them online, I'm curious why they ordered abortion pills online, knowing that she was way too far.
Right.
It was a misuse of that type of technology. I'm dismayed that they didn't feel empowered enough to reach out to people that were going to offer them real help and guidance on their real legal options.
Mm-hmm.
It seems, and also I think that discarding the remains and the attempts to hide it, there's no good guy in the story.
Yeah.
Meta complying with police, the way that they were really, the mother was very irresponsible in the way that she helped her daughter. I feel like they only had a bunch of bad options to choose from, and
that's exactly right.
They chose one of the worst possible options. There's a lot of questions that this story leads. I don't know that throwing the mother in prison for 2 years is the right option either, because how is she a threat to society? Why are we spending taxpayer money to incarcerate her? Obviously she was some form of fucked up support for her daughter, who is now vulnerable and without this person who in her own messed up way was trying to support her. There's no person who comes out of this looking good. I feel really bad for everybody involved, but I also think that it's not the greatest example of here's what happens when Roe
I
v.
think
Wade
that's a good point, but I also feel like it's an example of the lengths people go to when you don't feel like you can be a parent, or you don't have access to reproductive health care, and you don't have access to safe and free abortions, basically.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Like
mean, she
that's
should have had
this
access
happens.
to she should have had access to abortion right away. She should have had enough education where she understood that if she wasn't having a period for months and months on end, that's like a real red flag. She should have been in a place where she could go to a doctor and not fear having her medical records turned over to the state if she were pregnant when when she got examined and then wasn't pregnant shortly thereafter. Like there's so many failures that led to this really gruesome, sad story. And it's there's a lot going on, and none of it's good.
Jason, how many fetuses have you buried in your yard? I'm so
I'm glad that you didn't say Nazi Jason. How many fetuses have you buried in your yard? Just to bring it right back around again.
But anyway, it's
a hard zero to answer your question, because I don't want to be avoiding any questions here.
Sure, yeah. It's not really a gotcha question, but yeah, I mean, this is where we are. This is the state. I don't know actually where you're originally from. Are you from a state that now has an abortion ban?
I'm actually from 2 states. I grew up in Kentucky, and that for a very long time, I think maybe I don't know the law there now, actually, because I think there might have been a vote on it, but there was only one abortion clinic, which was in Louisville, Kentucky, for like the last 10 years. And I went to high school in Florida, which of course Ron DeSantis signed that. Was it 14-week abortion ban or 7-week? What was it?
It was
10 week? We can all get it wrong right now. I'm just gonna say
it's the first trimester. It's like I thought it was like 6, but
Jason, you just leave disaster in your wake, don't you? Don't move to California.
It's not like I was born in. I actually lived in California for a little
Kentucky.
bit.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
Sorry.
Now we know what's coming.
But like I just hate that now Donald Trump is trying to act like he's like the moderate here with abortion, saying like these bans are this is too much. This is too much. Like trying to act like you appointed the judges. This is all your fault, dude. You cannot like wash your hands of this right now.
Yeah. And they all are. And a lot of like, they're not really touting it because the human toll is, again, like pretty gruesome. And it's not just people who are seeking to have abortions, it's people who are seeking to have healthy babies who are unable to do so and are asked to bleed out in their cars until they are entering like septic shock before they can have a procedure to actually remove the fetus. So, I mean, just it's criminalizing all people and all families. But speaking of abortion and calling BS on what we see around us. This is you, Jason, I believe. Part of your work for The Good Liars, talking to someone who is against abortion. And where were you?
This was actually outside the RNC debate in Milwaukee.
Oh, solid debate. Who do you think won that? My
boy
Vivek?
The viewers won because it was just so much fun. He definitely won. He definitely won because everyone had to respond to him and felt the need to respond to him. So yeah, he definitely won.
What do Vivek stands call themselves? Are they Ramaswamis?
I don't know, but I had an interesting conversation with one of them outside, and he kind of embodied him. He was like kind of like smarmy and like talking down to me, and I was asking him about
I don't even know
the voting age. Yeah. And he was like, I was like, so you don't think 18-year-olds should be allowed to vote? And he was like, well, there are some like people that aren't very informed. I was very informed when I was 18. I was like,
God. Oh, hey, teacher, you said you were going to give us a pop quiz today. And I noticed what a dweeb. Just a dweeb's dweeb. Absolute goober.
All right. Well, all right. Let's take a look at this.
We need to abolish abortion, no exceptions.
So this says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And that's from the Bible?
Yeah, from Jeremiah 1. We need to abolish abortion, no exceptions.
Is that early?
What? That was it? Yeah, because that would be a terrible video if that was all of it. And that's why I think we should abolish abortion, no exceptions.
Yeah, well, great. I'm glad you're here. Let me try and bring one up. Apologies. 1 second. All right.
Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And that's from the Bible?
Yeah, from Jeremiah 1. Right. So God knows these babies in the womb. He has a purpose and a destiny for each child. They shouldn't be killed.
Didn't he kill all the firstborn sons in Egypt?
No.
We need to abolish abortion, no exception.
I shared that video. It's
she could not.
She
could not.
turned on me very fast. Very fast.
God killed a lot of kids.
He killed
a
lot of kids.
He killed everyone on Earth except for Noah and
Yes,
some
he
dinosaurs on an ark.
Yeah,
I found out at the Ark Encounter in Kentucky.
The dinosaurs.
But like he would have killed a lot of pregnant women. So God, performed a lot of abortions when he flooded the entire Earth.
So many abortions.
Yeah, and isn't it in the Bible also that if like a woman is attacked and she's pregnant, if a woman is like attacked and like her baby dies, then the guy who attacked her and killed the baby pays a fine to her husband. But if the woman dies, they get to beat the guy to death. Anyway, that's just, whatever.
It is, but they've changed it in translations. Like the newer, like the ones that they teach in like some of the big evangelical churches have changed that passage. So it doesn't imply that abortion is okay, basically.
Okay. But did they keep the part in there when Lot's daughters got him drunk and raped him so they could continue the family line?
Yeah. We asked people about that one time, and we told them about that, and we're like, should that book be banned? And they're like, absolutely, that's incestuous.
Oh my God.
That's Genesis 19. One of the horniest and weirdest parts.
Wait. Lot's children, daughters got him drunk and then raped him?
Yes, they did. And this was shortly before the fall of Sodom and Gomorrah. But yeah, they were continuing the family line. It was like the logical thing to do.
Wow.
It's a great book. You really should check it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds hot. That sounds like,
does it? I mean, I don't want to.
Those are like some search terms or something. I don't know what I'm
saying.
But,
it was the first porn hub in the Bible.
Porn hub. No, that is, God damn it. I love it so quickly. She's like, nope, not my God. That's not my. You could just say that's the Old Testament, and I'm only a New Testament gal. I don't know. That the rest of it's like, oh yeah, the part that you skip. You just go to the new part. But anyway, there we have it. We live in a growing theocracy. Do you feel like people, Jason, when you're talking to them, other than this woman, is the base talking about Roe v. Wade being overturned? Are they as excited about it, or is it true, like what Aaron is saying, and they're kind of running away from what they've done?
I don't. It depends. It depends, and obviously, like when we talk to people, we go to the March for Life. Obviously, you know what you're going to get there. But like going to a Trump rally, these are the people that like Donald Trump enough to go to a Trump rally. It's not necessarily like the average Republican voter. And we've been surprised. Some men like that we've talked to have been like, you know what? It's a woman's thing. I don't feel like I should have any say in that.
Right.
And we're surprised by that. And they're wearing like full MAGA gear all up and down. So I would say like a majority of the people are, quote unquote, pro-life, anti-abortion, or pro-forced pregnancy, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not all of them, but it's a small.
It's not necessarily what they lead with, though.
No, it's not. And look, a lot of them will say like, that's why Donald Trump was great. He appointed those judges, and that was such a great thing.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a moral thing. Especially if you talk to somebody religious, this is like a good versus evil thing. They truly believe it's abortion is murder, and that they are, they are acting on God's will and fighting the devil. And that's what Donald Trump did for them. So
right. And it's God's plan for, some babies to die of hunger in the street, and some, or not have enough food or milk, or, lead pipes, or like, Flint, Michigan water. So that's always incredible to me. Anyway, let's
end with a prayer, and then we'll
end with a prayer and move on. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room.